Hi everybody, I promised you a video on how I process my wool after cleaning it in the sunshine and washing everything up. These are my English wool combs. So when I have a fleece that's sort of cotted, like the Lincoln long wool, that I had in the first video of cleaning it and skirting it. If I have it like this, where there's pieces of hay, or if it's kind of bunched up, I like to run it through the English wool combs. Now these particular combs have several lines of tines through them. So you can see this one has 4. So that will give you a finer wool. It will help pick through a lot of the dirt. They're not necessarily for blending. You can blend with them, and I have done that with these. But some of the types of wool combs that you get that have 1 or 2 lines of tines, those are really good for blending. So these I got from Etsy. I like to support local or small artisans on Etsy. So I got these beautiful traditionally made English wool combs. And when you set them up, you want to make sure that you are being very careful and that you are in a clean and clear space, because these have made me bleed before. You want to make sure that it's free from any areas that your dogs or cats or kids can mess around with, and you want to make sure that you store them away from anybody who's going to be able to reach tiny hands or knock them over. They can be dangerous. So what I do here is pull apart. What you just saw me do is pull apart one of my locks. And I love how the length on these locks. You can see they're about the length of my hand. And then I set them in on the tines. I'm going to move my camera here so you can really take a look at what I'm doing. Okay, so pull apart a lock, or several locks here. And then what you're going to do after that is you take your other wool comb and you're going to go down and back and forth. Be very careful of like where your body is in comparison to it, and this is all about patience. So I usually put on some music, and this really is a labor of love. This takes a while, and the result is that a lot of those bunches of straw and any type of material, bug carcasses, different layers of dirt, and also nets, noils, things that you don't want in your yarn are left behind in the wool in the base of the wool comb right here. And you can probably already see I'm already getting some nice fluffy stuff. What I do with the nice fluffy stuff after that is I run it through my drum carder or my hand carders, and then I roll that up into a rolag or or just kind of spin it from the lock from when I get there. Now, we also go, I'm probably pulling a little bit too much here because I'm talking. But you want to be in this type of rhythm. You're not pulling too much because that can break your wool. And so this is your rhythm. Back and forth, like so, nice and easy. You want to do this twice. So in interest of time, I'm going to move to the other one. And then you'll see how you can hand pull roving. So I'll just show you what we're collecting at the base of this. See, this is all the stuff that we don't want in our yarn. When you're switching these out, make sure you're very purposeful with your movements, because when I have tried to move too fast or been distracted, I have poked myself with these. You also want to make sure that when you're using these, you're drinking something like coffee or tea to keep yourself awake, not wine. That might be a bad idea to be drinking while using these things. They're very, very sharp. Okay, so let's say this is all of our work that we've gotten through. And we're going to do it one more time. Now you would do the whole few locks that you put on there. And because I have so many tines here, I do it in very small batches so that I can get exactly what I want. And it doesn't take too long. If you really pack this up, you might feel like, oh, well, if I put a bunch of wool on here, that'll be really efficient. It's not really. Spend the time with just a few locks at a time instead of packing it on. You'll end up, when you pull it, breaking your wool, and you probably won't be satisfied with what you get. So this is the stuff that would have otherwise gone into our yarn or our roving. So what I do with that is I set it aside, and you can make dryer balls out of it. You can use it for stuffing, for stuffed animals. I do that sometimes. I give it to a friend of mine who makes little stuffed animals. But if you wash it in a sock, they kind of automatically make themselves into little dryer balls. All right, so what we do with this right here is we pull that into roving. And you can use a diz, which is like a little piece of plastic that kind of pulls the fibers through a little hole, or you can just pinch it off right here as you're pulling. This is pulling all of the fibers in one direction and making them so that when you make your yarn from your combed wool, a lot of your fibers are already aligned. And you can spin directly from this, or you can put it through your drum carder or your hand carders and blend it up. And like I said, you can blend with these types of wool combs, but really these wool combs are very good for cleaning up and getting all the straw and the neps and oils out of long wools. So I'm going to show you what this looks like here. And then if you kind of draft out and twist, you can see what your yarn would likely look like. Okay, so I love this wool. It's very beautiful, and this was what my final project looked like. So after I pulled my roving out of my English wool combs and I plied it together, this is what I got. So this is what my yarn looked like from the original stuff from the first video. Let's see if I can get it better. There you go, maybe you can see that a little better. This was an order from somebody who wanted to make a very natural, rough looking wool, yarn that was tightly, there we go, that's better, was tightly spun so that they could use it for a macrame project. So that was the order. And they wanted the natural color of the wool. So I hope you enjoyed this little video and learned a little bit about English whirl combs, and I'll make another video soon. Thanks.